Welcome, welcome. It's so exciting to see so many familiar faces out there. We would like to start off with some thank yous. We have a lot of thanking to do. So first, thanks to the many, many volunteers who have dedicated their time to this event and making it successful. Special thanks to Joel Iverson and Kim Wooten in the back for all their hard work. Let's give them a round of applause. We could not have done this without them. They put in a ton of time and effort, weeks and months and hours of logistics planning and collecting and curating content, wrangling us, which is a challenge. We're all super busy, and this event is no small feat. There's a ton of time and effort that goes into this, and no person has this as their primary job responsibility. So we really thank everyone for the time and effort that they put in to make this successful. We want to thank the Ross School of Business and the School of Nursing for providing us with AV support, the laptops for check-in, and the other technology to make this possible. And we also could not have done this without the support of our Michigan IT leadership team, and then all of the directors, managers, supervisors who let their staff, enabled them to dedicate time and effort to this community. Thank you. This event is broken into 2 days, as Joel said. Today we've got our keynote speaker, who we're really excited about. Our CIOs are going to be giving us an update, as well as our poster reception. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Michael to introduce our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Andrea. I am very, very excited to have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker. When Andrea and I started our year in service, we very much agreed with the direction laid out by the Michigan IT leadership team that we needed to focus on the people, because the people is really what makes Michigan IT a thing, a community for us to invest in. So this network, and this is just a small representation, the folks in the room here, the network of people across the university represent creative, vibrant, challenging, supportive, innovative, resilient people, 2,700 plus, and I think the number is actually quite a bit larger than that when we look at people who identify as leveraging technology or services in their day-to-day job. But that's Michigan IT, and we care so much about the people that we really embrace the idea that what can't we do together? If we get all of the IT and technology and services folks across the University of Michigan working together, moving towards the same goals together, what can't we do? What at Michigan doesn't rely on the technology and services that we all support? What doesn't rely on the products that we develop and we support together? Pick one big strategic, big innovative thing that makes Michigan what Michigan is, and find one that doesn't have technology or services or products that play a role in it. And that's what we do. That's what we all represent. So if we can work together as one community, we can and we do change the world on a daily basis. So as we come together for the symposium, our 6th annual IT symposium, we've focused on sparking connections and igniting ideas across this community. How do we take this community and set it ablaze with creativity and collaboration in the right way? We've extended the format to enable that. A big part of tomorrow is to make more space for all of you to talk to each other. Just in the time we've gotten here, we've already laid some good groundwork for some different things that we can do together. We've made the sessions more interactive and more hands-on. We've made more sessions for you to be able to chime in on what you want to see from Michigan IT. So use that time and use that voice. Make the future of Michigan IT what you want it to be. But to really get it going the right direction, we needed to get the right flame to spark those connections that we're all interested in. And we think we found the perfect person to kick this off. This is someone who focuses on the people, who focuses on igniting ideas, on sparking connections, and I can't tell you how excited we are to have Marcus Collins join us. So who is Marcus? Marcus, you can read great information about his resume. He's the Chief Consumer Connections Officer at Donor Advertising. He's worked with brands like Apple, Nike, Beyonce, McDonald's, Anheuser-Busch, the Brooklyn Nets, the Detroit Pistons, if I see some of the new stuff that he's working on, State Farm, the whole Chris Paul campaign, and those are all fantastic things. I'm a little biased, though. I think the Michigan brand's a little better than all those. That's just my opinion. And Marcus is a Wolverine. He's an engineering undergrad. He's a Ross MBA. He's a faculty member at the School of Business involved in some of the modern marketing and digital initiatives. He is a Michigan man. He is a family man. I love that he introduces himself often as Alex's husband and Ivy and Georgia's dad. That's something I really relate with as we think about all the community that we bring together. But I'm grateful to call him my friend, Marcus Collins.
Sweet, that's me. So I'm going to talk to you guys today about something very, a little benign, perspective. Now, I like the word perspective because we all have one. It's very democratized. We all have a perspective. But particularly, when I think about perspective, I think about it this way, is that things aren't the way they are, things are the way that we are. That is, things are the way that we see the world. The way we see the world ultimately informs the way that we behave in the world. That is, we look at the exact same thing from two totally different perspectives and see two totally different things. This is the power of perspective. But let's make this a little bit more tangible, because I believe in radical simplicity. So check this out. So this is my lovely daughter, Georgia. She's my eldest. She'll be 5 years old tomorrow. And Georgia is a fish. And I take full responsibility for this because when Georgia was an infant, I took her to the pool and did one of these numbers. Check it. Here we go. So here is in the air. Georgia gets some lift off there, which looks good, right? Perfect release. I catch her. Boom. Perfect father. That's me. Perfect dad. That's me. Yes. I know. The barrier's kind of low, I suppose. But yes, perfect dad. Now, here's how I saw this. I threw Georgia in the air just a little bit. Nothing to be alarmed about. Just a little bit in the air. Now, the way Georgia saw it, I threw her in the air just a little bit higher. My wife? My gosh! You're going to kill our child, right? It's all a matter of perspective. The way you see the world informs the way you behave in the world, and Georgia's getting really good, by the way. All right, so I want to talk to you today about perspective, particularly a perspective about people. Now, I'm a marketer, right, by trade. It's what I teach, it's what I do as a practitioner. I am a marketer. And marketers, our superpower in this world is that we know people. We know people really, really, really well. In fact, this is how it's described. Marketers can see consumers as complete human beings having all the dimensions and trappings that real human beings have. We know people. And this is a superpower because people are complex. We are some complicated mofos, let me tell you. This is how Neil deGrasse Tyson says it. When human behavior enters the equation, things go nonlinear. That's why physics is easy and sociology is hard, because people are extremely complex. We are. And marketers, we know people. We know people really well. But we regular human beings, or y'all, not me, y'all, regular human beings don't understand people so well. That's why we put people in boxes, right? We put people in boxes. We want the world to be nice and neat, where I could put people in a box and it makes all the sense in the world. Right? I put you in a box, I see who you are, I put you in a box, and there who you are. Here's an example. Meet my friend Deborah. Deborah drives a minivan. Does Deborah have kids? Yeah, right, yeah. Do our kids play a sport? Yeah, what sport do they play? Soccer, right, yeah. And where does Deborah live? I gave you one data point, and you mapped out Deborah's entire life. But this is what we do all the time. We put people in boxes based upon the cognitive fluidity that we have around people. Meet Mike. Mike has a mohawk. What kind of music does Mike listen to? Rock, exactly. What kind of clothes does he wear? Grunge. Oh, that's music, but yes, grunge. I'm with you, black, right, yeah? What kind of vehicle does he drive? Now, I just met y'all. But we can all see that concurrently. Why? Because that's the box that we put people in, but not us marketers. No. We're far better than you mere mortals. Because we have things like demography that helps us describe people. Their age, their race, their gender, their household income, their geography. Ooh, far more sophisticated than those rudimentary boxes you put people in. But here's the thing though. Demography, while it is factual, there are statistical data points about people, they don't accurately describe who people are. The age, the race, the gender, they don't accurately describe who people are. For instance, take my demographics, right? I am African American, if you hadn't noticed. I'm 40 years old, from Detroit, born and raised, holla, went to public schools my entire life. Now, if a marketer saw that on a brief, on the people they're targeting, they'd say, oh, he must walk like this, talk like this, and do these things because that's just what those kind of people do. And it's awful to hear me say that out loud, but this is what we do all the time. This is why Deborah has kids who play soccer and live in a cul-de-sac. Because we put people in boxes. And while, yes, I am 40 years old, yes, I am African American, I am from Detroit, and I did go to public schools my entire life, these things do not accurately describe who I am. They don't give rise to the fact that I grew up playing jazz as a kid, or I swam competitively from 8 years old to 19 years old, which is a huge stereotype break, by the way. You're laughing, it's a little racist, but it's all good because I love you, it's all good. Michigan community, it's all good, right? Or as an engineer underground, or I like to sail, these things shape how I see the world. And because they shape the frame that I have by the way I see the world, they influence my behavior. But really good marketers don't see it this way. See, really good marketers focus on psychographics instead. We focus on what people like, where they go, right? Instead of looking at their age, their gender, their race, their household income, we look at their interests, their passion points. And while this definitely paints a far more vivid picture of who people are than demography, it only tells us what people do, not why they do it. Which says to us, if we really want to describe who people are, we need a better descriptor for them, better than demographics, and we need this understanding of causality. That is why they do what they do. And there's a way to do that. I describe it as the people, their networks. Now, I love this room, by the way, because y'all all know networks really, 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 really well. But when I talk about networks, I'm not talking about these disparate things that are connected thanks to the power of zeros and ones. I'm talking about the people with whom we exchange information, experiences, knowledge, our networks of people. Our friends, our networks of people. Our families, our networks of people. Our coworkers, this is a network of people. Our classmates, our networks of people, our fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, congregates, teammates, our people are far better descriptors of who we are because we use people to self-identify. And they give a sense of causality because people like us do things like this. It's our networks, understanding people. Our networks of people are far more accurate way to describe people and get a sense of what they're likely to do. And speaking of which, in each one of these networks, there are characteristics that guide our behavior, cultural characteristics that are normal. There are beliefs that we all hold. There are artifacts that we don. There are behaviors that we take on. There are languages that we use. And the alchemy of these four things are said to represent the cultural characteristics that guide the normal behavior of people within the network. And each network we're a part of are governed by a set of cultural characteristics. And what really gets down to this is that our psychographics, what we like, where we go, what we do, what we buy, how we style ourselves, what we eat, all these things are byproducts of our people, our networks of people. And it's the beautiful part is that we have tons of networks. We have our friends from back home, our friends from school, our friends from work, our friends from the club, if that's what you do, no judgments, right? Our people. In fact, even in the 7 realms, there's some network beliefs, right? The Lannisters always repay their debts, right? This is a cultural norm within that network of people. Take, for instance, my network, right? So I'm a Collins. My name is Marcus Collins. I'm in the Collins network, right? And we happen to believe that family and church come first. That is a belief within our network. So on Sunday mornings, I'm in the church sanctuary. Or I get a passive-aggressive call from my mother that afternoon. Says, how was your morning, Marcus? That's how she gets down, right? Now look, there are no stone tablets in our basement that I signed in blood saying I'm going to go to church. No, these are things that are normative to our people. We ain't crazy like that, right? Don't judge me. These are things that are normative to my people. Ergo, I take on the behavior, right? I'm also in the same network with you guys. I'm a Michigan Wolverine, holla, right? And we just so happen to believe that we're the best school ever. I suppose it's debatable, but not really. One thing is definitely for sure that there's a school south of us that is the worst school on the planet. Hands down, right? And we definitely gonna see that come Saturday, inshallah, please, right? Now, these are the beliefs that we hold within these networks, and we see to it that we adhere to these rules. In fact, Sam Summers puts it this way, that much of our daily lives are governed by these social norms. This what dictates what it means to be a good standing member within the communities that we're a part of. So these characteristics, these beliefs, these artifacts, these behaviors, these language that we kind of take for granted, these are really the glue that keeps the network together. They're the covalent bonds that connect us to our friends, our families, our coworkers, our teammates, fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, our people. And this is important to know because, as Aristotle would say, we are man, we are social animals by nature, which is why the idea of solitary confinement is considered cruel and unusual punishment, because it actually pulls at the fabric of humanity to separate people. We are tribal by nature. And we adhere to these rules to stay in good standings with our people. And what happens when you break the rules? Well, rather, we'll actually spend a premium to actually go get drinks with our friends. We got beer in the refrigerator, but it's like, let's go get a drink and pay a premium for sure. Just so we can be around people. And when you break the rules, people look at you sideways. Like, what you talking about, man? What you doing? You rooting for Ohio State? We're the only school in the Big Ten in the top. No, we don't do that. Right? Based on the rules. And here's the interesting part, is that when we break the rules, we find ourselves having social distress with our people. And the brain processes social distress the same way we process physical harm. That is, it hurts for us to be at odds with our people. So we do everything we can to stay connected. In fact, we kind of go through this rubric of, I am A, we believe this, therefore I. I am a Collins, we believe family church come first, therefore Sunday mornings I'm in the church sanctuary, right? We're Michigan Wolverines, we believe Ohio State sucks, so we defecate on Ohio State every time we have a chance, because they suck, right? This is what we do. It's ingrained in what we do. We make this decision hundreds of times a day. That saying in philosophy, I think, therefore I am. In this case, is I am, therefore I do. Because the networks we're a part of, they guide the behaviors that we take on. So understanding this is super powerful. Because in a lot of ways, much of our daily lives is just a collection of habits that's normative to our people. So the better we understand people, the better we can understand what these norms happen to be. These networks, our friends, our family, our coworkers, teammates, fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, our people, right? So these networks, we're talking about the people that we're connected with. The dynamics of them are the culture that is embedded into what we do, what is considered normal. And we guide all of our daily actions based on this very thing. Like the way Jill Avery puts it, that our identities, the narratives that we construct and negotiate with others, which identify the place that we occupy in the social world in relation to and demarcate it from other people, are created and confirmed through our social interactions. Our people are everything. And for marketers to understand that means we can be pretty good at our jobs. Unfortunately, marketers don't know nothing about people. And we know that every day, we experience that every day in all our interactions with marketing communications, right? And if you think about networks, now we can really talk, y'all. This is about the fundamentals of networks, right? So you guys know Chernoff, yes? Oh, I'm sorry, you guys know Chernoff, yes, question mark? No, okay, thank you. It's just rude. I asked a question, you don't respond, come on, guys. Right, so network. So Chernoff had this law that he said, you know what? The more nodes that you have connected to a node, the more valuable the network becomes, right? So a network consists of a node, other nodes, and a dyadic tie that connects you to those nodes, right? And between these nodes, they share things exchange between them. And what Chernoff's law said is that the more nodes that you have connected to a node, the more powerful or more valuable the node becomes. You know, as we think about like television, media, right? The more people who watch FX, the more valuable the network becomes. But then later on, a guy named Metcalf said, well, you know what? If you decentralize the network, it actually is much more valuable when you let people connect with other people. It's much more valuable that way. We exchange things transactionally. You remove this decentralized sort of bottleneck that happens. But then later, Reed said, you know what's even more powerful? Is when you let people connect with other people who share the same values that they do. And what happens is that the value of the network changes in its value based upon the ability to connect. Or Reed puts it this way. In a broadcast network, content is king. Sources compete for audiences based on the value of their content, right? Publishing content, TV programs, etc. In a Metcalf network, the stuff that is traded is transactional. Money, emails, transactional things that we go from person to person. However, in a group network, the central role is fulfilled by jointly constructed values. That we see the world similarly. We subscribe to the same shared beliefs. the same artifacts, the same social norms, the same language. It's bound by our people, and that is Superman powerful. Superman, you get it right? Yes, you got that? Yes, making sure. You guys are a savvy crowd. It's Superman powerful because of the value that the network provides to us on a day-to-day basis. Now, what marketers, so when I give this talk to CMOs, they all sit there kind of grimace with their hands, their arms folded, and they say, you don't understand, Marcus, we have sophisticated data that informs all of our decision making. And we take all of that data and we represent it in a very beautiful way, and we write paragraphs about who these people are, and we give them fancy names like aspirers. We're targeting cautious traditionals. I don't even know what discriminating pragmatic is. But one thing I know is that no one's looking in the mirror saying, I'm a comfortable progressive. Nobody's doing that. And because we don't self-identify that way, there are no shared beliefs, there are no artifacts, there are no behaviors, or no language that's normative to those people. These are not real. But this is what marketers do. We put titles on people and apply some characteristics that are not accurate. And since we're all friends now, because, hey, we love each other, let's talk about another Loch Ness monster of a title that we give people. Millennials. Millennials, right? A millennial. What makes a millennial millennial? A millennial is a millennial based on their age. And age is a demographic. And you know what? We have a mental picture of who millennials are. They're self-entitled, they're lazy, they don't want to work for nothing, but they want everything. Right? I remember over the summer I saw this meme I thought was just perfect. Millennials are responsible for killing everything that's good in the world. They ruined brunch. They killed hotel loyalty programs. I don't know how you do that, right? They killed the wine cork. Like, what does that even mean? Millennials, they're the worst people on the planet. We put everything at their feet that they are absolutely horrible. There are 80 million millennials in the United States. You mean tell me they're all the same because they were born at the same time? That don't make no sense. That is absolutely ridiculous. Because they were born, it's like saying everybody 35 to 55 are all the same. That is ridiculous. It's like saying all black people do something fill in the blank racist. All women love to shop. It's not a real thing, but this is what we do. And what CMOs say is that we have so much data that says otherwise, Marcus. And think about this. So Netflix, who has tons of data, says this. There are 19-year-old guys who watch Dance Moms, and there are 73-year-old women who watch Breaking Bad. This is about disposition, not about demography. And the beautiful part is that every generation talks junk about the generation after them. Every single one. Oh, when I was your age, oh my God, I had to walk 50 miles to get to school. When I was your age, I had to hear I want to get on the internet, right? Everyone complains and say the guys after them have it so easy. It's called evolving. Yeah, right. So every time I hear people talk about millennials, I'm like, please shut up. Just shut up. Because it's not real. But don't take it from me. Y'all just met me. Y'all don't know me. Don't take it from me. Let's take it to somebody who has much more credence than I do, Mr. Stephen Colbert.
Doing this job is forming a genuine connection with all of my viewers who are between the age of 18 and 35 with disposable income. AngelSoft, comfort where you want it. Your butt. Now, those people, the 18 to 35-year-olds, those people are called millennials. People born somewhere around 1980 and up to the early 2000s. Not to be confused with Eastern European women trapped in the White House. Those are millennials. Very different. Advertisers are dying to understand millennials, and I can help them because I speak millennial. This is The Late Show's WTF is Up with Millennials, my home dog scooter emoji AF. AF, of course, stands for also friendly. I recently learned some new millennial secrets from the hippest news source around, the Wall Street Journal. Now, the Journal, or WizJourn, as the kids call it. I think, right? That's it.
I call it WizJourn. That's great.
It's the WizJourn?
WizJourn.
WizJourn, okay. The WizJourn published quotes from corporate CEOs about what their research tells them millennials like. Now, the first one's obvious. Millennials love the word old. So it turns out it was a compliment when those teens chased me down the street yelling, "You suck, old man!" And my CE bros have also discovered that millennials are moving to the suburbs and that they love grilling because, according to corporate research, millennials are over-indexing on charcoal. Over-indexing, okay? Listen, kids, be careful. Charcoal starts innocently enough. Maybe hit the Smoky Joe on the weekends, but the next thing you know, you've got a 3-bag-a-day Kingsford habit. Okay? But, yeah.
That charcoal will get you.
Self-lighting. That's
you gotta be
self-lighting. You end up with self-lighting lung. But that's not all. These plugged-in CEOs, no, millennials totally vape over authentic things like snacking, pets, and movie watching. Wow, that is some cutting-edge market research.
But this is what marketers do. They take this data to go after discriminating pragmatics. This is ridiculous, right? And even when I tell CMOs this, chief marketing officers of major corporations, they go, "You're absolutely right, Marcus." Then they go back to their office and say, "We got to get those millennials." Shame. 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 It's problematic. And to make this even more pronounced, because I like to just beat things to the ground, right? So Nielsen, which is they are an authority when it comes to data, Nielsen says this, that millennials put a premium on authenticity. That sounds about right, based upon the box that we put millennials in, right? They can smell BS 20 miles away. But then Nielsen later says that real-world situations and authenticity appeal most to consumers 35 to 54. What? And then Adweek later says, for brands looking to engage Gen Z, authenticity rules. What is going on here? What in the world is happening here? You mean to tell me people don't want to be lied to? Shocker. Oh my goodness, stop the press. I love the way this quote puts it. After all, who wouldn't love to shop for lower priced, organic, and natural foods in a store that boasts a clean and modern design? No one's like, "No, I want the dirty stuff, please. Thank you very much." It doesn't make any sense. And this is the problem, that we don't know people very well. And we, marketers, are the worst offenders because we go the route that is easiest. Not the most accurate, but the easiest route. And the truth of the matter is that our identity drives our behaviors and our belief. If we don't accurately understand people, then we'll never know why people do what they do, why they take on the actions that they take on. And no one looks at themselves and calls themselves these names that we put on. They don't introduce themselves by this way. No, there's no millennial who looks in the mirror and says, "I'm a sophisticated, savvy millennial who loves to be digitally connected and watch Netflix." Nobody. Instead, we look in the mirror and say things like, "I'm a Collins," and their beliefs, artifacts, and behaviors and language that are normative to my people. I'm a Michigan Wolverine, and their cultural characteristics that guide the behavior of my people. Right? I'm Georgia and Ivy's father, and their cultural characteristics that guide my behavior. I'm Alex's husband, and you better believe there are rules that guide my behavior. They're beliefs, they're true. But some people are Christians, and I try to be a good version of that. So there are rules and beliefs that guide their behavior. Some people are sneakerheads, some are skaters, some are hackers, some are designers, some are marathon runners, right? All these things are based on their identity because they self-identify by it. They adhere to the beliefs, the behaviors, the artifacts, and the rules that guide what these people do so that we know where we fit into the world. But we have to understand people if we are to do that very thing. And our social groups are extremely important to us for this very reason. They sort of tell us who we are, what to think, how to behave, and the more that we value the group, the more influenced we are by them, our people. Even if you don't look the same. People who supported Black Lives Matter, they weren't all black. They just believed. They shared the same belief, subscribed to the same norms, spoke the same language. They were a network because of the values that they shared. We see this even with companies. So I used to work at Apple. And at Apple, there was a culture there. We used to call it, people would say Apple like a cult-like environment. Cult is short for culture. There's cultural characteristics that are salient within the Apple environment. And back in the day, there's a video here that talks about how they knew that you were the right employee for Apple. Check it.
Interviews, I could go back and look at some of the interviews agendas. They would start at 9 or 10 in the morning and go through dinner. A new interviewee would talk to everybody in the building at least once, and maybe a couple times, and then come back for another round of interviews, and then we'd all get together and talk about it.
And then they
Before
could
we-
fill out an application.
No, they never filled
The
out.
most critical
Nobody
part
ever
of the
filled out a
interview,
job.
at least to my mind, was when we finally decided we liked them enough to show them the Macintosh prototype, and then we sat them down in front of it. And if they just kind of were bored or said, "This is a nice computer," we didn't want it. We wanted their eyes to light up and them to get really excited, and then we knew they were one of us.
That's how we knew they were one of us. They did what we did. They saw the world the way we see it. These are our networks of people. It's not just from a marketing perspective, it's from a community perspective, be that community organizations, be it companies, or the alike. And herein lies the problem of the age. It's not that men are poor because all men know something about poverty, not that men are wicked because who is good, not that men are ignorant because what is truth. Nay, that men know so little about men. We don't understand people. And truthfully, the best marketers on the planet are stand-up comedians because they watch people. They go, huh, that was really fascinating that happens. It happens all the time. Why is this the case? And then they study people, they observe people, they go back and they deduce some rationale, then they get on stage and say, have you noticed that blah, 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 blah? Everybody goes, ha, 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 it's so me! Because it's accurate of truth, of the people. And the more we understand people, the better we are at connecting with people, right? Our networks of people in particular. And here's the beautiful part for marketers, is that people rely on people more than any form of marketing or communication, right? More than TV, more than print, more than out-of-home, more than radio. In fact, people trust strangers more than they trust marketers, which is super sobering for a marketer, right? We'll trust Denver Sexy Lover 24 on Amazon more than we'll trust a brand, right? We trust people all the time. And this is where traditional marketing communication breaks down. Because marketers work like this. I have a brand, and our brand have value propositions. Our products have value propositions. We communicate through some advertising. My razor's sharper, my battery lasts longer, my car goes faster, my shampoo will get you laid, right? And then we communicate that to a group of people that we think are going to eat messages and crap cash. It's true. That's how we think of you. Totally. You're going to eat this message, just go buy stuff. But things don't happen that way. Instead, when brands tap into networks of people who believe the same thing the brand believes, people not only consume from that brand, but they use that brand to communicate their own identity as a badge, a receipt of identity, and they share people who are just like them. And it begins to propagate from person to person to person, where a small group of people begin to exhibit the same visible symptoms. And before long, they are acting in concert to promote social solidarity. This is what we're wired to do. And here's an example of this in action. So this is my client, Ego. So Ego came to me, was this the beginning of, about this time last year, actually. You guys familiar with Ego, yes? Are you familiar with Ego, yes? Thank you. I mean, gosh, come on. I gave you the layup earlier. Come on, guys. You fell for that one. All right, so Ego. Ego has been historically related to a show on Netflix called Stranger Things. Right? And little known fact, so if you watch Stranger Things, you know Ego is basically like another character in the show. But the Duffel brothers who created the show never asked Ego to be a part of this thing, ever. Right? They just happened to just use it. And Ego saw a spike in sales after the first season, and even another spike in sales after the second season, and thought to themselves, hey, we should really get a part of the third season. So they came to us and said, hey, can you help us integrate ourselves into a campaign for Stranger Things to get people excited about the new season, but also to get people to want to consume more from us? And we said, cool, great, glad to do that. So the first thing we thought about is, who is the network that we're going after? What are the beliefs, the artifacts, the behaviors, the language? So we started from the start, where people who are deep fandoms of shows like this exist, Reddit. They're there, right? So we went to Reddit, and we created a network map. That is, we mapped all the subreddits that were Stranger Things related. And we looked at the connections between all those people who are friends or connected on through the Stranger Things subreddits on Reddit, and looked at all the other things that they watch, all the other things, all the subreddits they're a part of, all of the conversations that they're a part of, to get a understanding of who they are as people, but also things that are normative to them. And out of this, we can extract some understanding about these people as humans and create something that's actually get these guys excited and ultimately to consume. So with that, we created this. Check it.
Netflix's Stranger Things has become a global phenomenon. Fans of this sci-fi horror series are obsessed with the oddball cast of characters and its heavy dose of 80s nostalgia, including Eggo waffles. So with the launch of Season 3, Eggo wanted to create an experience that would make Stranger Things fans more excited about waffles than ever. But how do you do this with no official Netflix partnership, a restriction on the use of Stranger Things IP, and a crowded marketplace of brands cashing in on the show's success? You leverage your OG status. That's how. Since day one, Eggo waffles has been the food of choice for the show's lead character, Eleven, and it's become an artifact among the most hardcore Stranger Things devotees. Legally, we couldn't say we'd be in Season 3, so we had to show it. We started with Hawkins. Not the fictional Hawkins, Indiana, where the series is set, but the 11 real towns in North America with the same name. Channeling Eleven's signature nosebleeds, we strategically placed the faux Eggo billboards across the social web to stoke intrigue, and included a cryptic message in each of the organic posts. The fans, they took it from there. The billboards made their way to Reddit, earning 35 times more upvotes than any of the fan-posted content from Coca-Cola, Nike, and Baskin-Robbins combined. From there, we stepped up the strange by leveraging the time-honored tradition of fandom, the Easter egg. We placed Easter Eggos inside what appeared to be lost 1980s ads, inviting fans into the Eggoverse to satisfy their inner sleuth from one Eggo to the next. Those who made it to the end got a surprise and delight message from the brand. A few even earned a limited release of 80s Eggo retro packs through Amazon Fresh. Other fans were led to purchase through additional activations, which resulted in over 51,000 purchased boxes. And fans got their own taste of the Upside Down through our Kellogg's New York City takeover and Eggo Truck Summer Tour. The campaign generated a 6,000% increase in followers on Instagram with an 11% engagement rate and 500,000 interactions. Most importantly, it helped solidify Eggo's rightful place among Stranger Things fans. Not even Jeff Bezos could resist sharing his love for Eggo after binging the new season. Ultimately, we took Eggo consumption to new levels, with a 30% increase in Eggo purchases at Kroger and Walmart. That's pretty rad.
So for us, it's ridiculously powerful, not because of the technology, but because of the focus on the people, understanding the dynamics of the network of people. The people are more important than the tech. The tech allows us to understand more, but at the core of this is about understanding people. When I think about this, it reminds me of this gentleman here, a guy by the name of Marshall McLuhan. Marshall McLuhan was a psychologist, a sociologist, and he spent his time making arguments about how people engage with media and technology. And one of his greatest provocations was that technology merely extends on behaviors that already exist. It extends on behaviors that are already normative to humans, right? Like the will is an extension of the foot, allowing us to go further while exhausting less energy. Glasses are extensions of the eyes, clothes extensions of the skin, cameras extensions of the memory, computers extensions of the brain. Right? These technologies help us extend what already is. So we think about social networking platforms like Reddit, they're just real life extensions of our real life networks, our people, understanding the people. The tools matter, but it's not as much as people do. The tools change very, 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 very fast, but people change very, 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 very slowly. So now, you're like, I'm not a marketer, dude. Why are you telling me all this? Right? So what does this mean for you? I'll tell you what this means for you, is that this is exactly why you're here. You all are a network. You're a network of people with beliefs, artifacts, behaviors, and language that is normative to this community. Though you're spread across Michigan broadly, either here in Ann Arbor and likewise, you guys are bounded here by characteristics that are normative among you. Beliefs, artifacts, behaviors, and language. Now the thing about this is that while you guys have a consistent characteristic that's associated with you guys, you're not a monolith. You're not all the same. You actually bring great diversity to it. Some people are in College of Engineering, some in the School of Information, some in the business school, some in LS&A. All of these experiences add more complexity to the network. right? As Aristotle would say, hence many are better judges than a single man of music and poetry. For some understand one part and some of the other, and among them they understand the whole. The information that's aggregated in this room, the knowledge that exists in this room, is massively, massively powerful in a read-like network way. There's an author here, James Surowiecki, who talks about this idea of wisdom of the crowd. And I like one of the stories he tells this, that at a county fair, they had a big cow on display, and he asked the crowd, how much does the cow weigh? And everyone was throwing out numbers. They're all kind of all over the place, right? And the average of all of those guesses were about 1,197 pounds. Only 1 pound under the actual weight of the cow. And the same thing happens here. One of you guys may be the most brilliant people on the planet, but together it's even more powerful. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts, right? When the group members make better decisions than they would have made individually because of the alchemy of the network. One of my colleagues at the Ross School of Business refers to this as the diversity bonus. That the diversity of thought within a community gets at better outcomes. This is why we're here. How do we leverage the value of the network? How do we learn from each other? Not just once a year when we all come together and hear somebody talk and then do breakouts for a day. It was all great. We should do this again. Thanks so much. See you next year. How do we, on a regular basis, tap into the power of the network that exists here based on the beliefs that guide the behaviors that are normative on who you guys are? How do we get by with a little help from our friends? Y'all, not me, y'all. How do you help each other? And this is what we're here really meant to do, because we get smarter because of each other. Not only that, we actually get better. We feel better because of each other. There's research that showed, Facebook did a study a few years ago. They took anonymous users, and put nothing but negative things in their news feed. And then put another group of anonymous users, put nothing but positive things in their news feed. And what they found is that people who had negative things in their news feed end up posting net new negative things. Same thing, opposite on the positive side. Right? The people that we're around affect our mood. So we're happier when we're around people who are like ourselves. But even more importantly, like, we live longer. Our health is impacted by our ability to network. There's research done in the island of Sardinia, and they saw that these people, their mortality rate was very low. Like, they lived very, 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 very long lives. And they asked, well, why is this happening? Some anthropologists went in and said, what's going on here? Why are these people living longer than most people? Is it their diet? Is it the fact that they don't smoke? Their alcohol intake? Whatever it may be. And what they found was alarming. Not alarming, it was unexpected. Social integrations and close relationships is why people live longer. This is why we're talking about networks. Not the networks you deal with every day, but the networks of people who are here. The alchemy of the networks that exist here. As Prince would say, dearly beloved, we gather here to get through this thing called life. And this is the case. I mean, getting through life in Michigan, we need some help from our friends. And this is why we're here. So I hope at the very least, this changes the way you think about the place that you play in this organization, within these four walls, with these people, so you can take advantage of your advantage. Take advantage of the advantage you have people next to you who see the world the way you do, but more importantly, can bring something to the table that you didn't know by yourself. I hope this is helpful. Thanks so much, guys.